all collectors, and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at the Werewolf from Altered Beast. This is part of the 4-inch line that Jakks Pacific is doing for various Sega properties. Previously I took a look at Axel from Streets of Rage and II from Super Monkey Ball, and this is the one I was most excited about, so I've been looking for this for a while. I finally found it at a Walmart today, and I'm super excited. I think he looks awesome. Truth be told, he's probably going to end up being closer to 5 inches than 4 inches, but at least with this one, I feel like it's kind of a large mythical beast. You know, I could have this character be a little bit larger in universe, so I think it should still work. He has got this giant bubble, very similar to Axel from Streets of Rage, although I will say he takes up a little bit more of it than Axel did. Really cool artwork here from the original game. I think that looks fantastic. Not actually in the game, but I mean like the arcade cabinet and then the actual cartridge for the Sega Genesis when this was put out. Over here again, this is actually from the game. This is a screenshot from the game of the transformation, and it comes with the little spirit ball. Basically, how it worked is you start out as a regular human in the game, and you collect enough of these, you're able to transform into the werewolf, and then you have extra powers and things to kill all the zombies. I think that's zombies in that game. In any case, this looks really cool. Packaging looks great. I'm going to go ahead, get him out of there, and we're going to take a closer look. Here he is out of the packaging, and honestly, he looks fantastic. I think they did such a good job with the look of the figure. You know, the texture is all there for the fur. He's got a little bit of black washing here on the abdomen. The head sculpt looks fantastic. Really, really nice job there. The eyes are nicely painted. The teeth, the inside of the mouth, all of that. The inside of the ears even have a little bit more kind of black wash detailing here on the arms. All in all, looks fantastic. And for the most part, articulation is pretty good as well. So the head is a little bit softer plastic, little rubbery here like in the snout, but really not an issue. Head can turn side to side, up and down slightly, even, well, I can't really tilt side to side. So it's on kind of a limited ball joint there. Has butterfly joints, which actually work really well. With Axel, the butterfly joints were a little gummy. Here, they're very nice. The arm can rotate, no issue. The hinge on the shoulders, I don't even know if it's real. It feels completely fused. He cannot lower his arms at all. I've kind of gotten this one to move a little bit, but the problem is because of the butterfly joints, it's really difficult to not move that and to just try to move the shoulder. And I don't really want to break it. This one I feel like has moved a little bit. Okay, that one's giving me a little bit. Not as much as it probably should be. But, and I feel like I'm going to just break this because you have the nice, really nice bicep swivel. It looks good. All that's great. But yeah, so I don't know what it is about these figures. They look fantastic, but they have, you know, something just off about them. With Axel, he had, you know, the butterfly joints were a little gummy and the one of his elbow joints wouldn't move. Here, the elbow joints are great. And you can see that it's even like a little open there so that when you straighten, like they have this piece to fill in the gap, but then when you straighten it out, it kind of recesses into the bicep or tricep region there, which is nice. I think that's great. That works really well. You have a wrist swivel with a hinge. No issue there. You have an abdomen kind of ball joint. That looks really good. Works well. I don't think there's anything down here at the waist, but again, maybe it's just fused as well, but I don't think so. Nice ball joint here for the waist. Can't really kick all that far because, you know, the leg starts to hit into this, like, merkin area that we got going on here. This is kind of a softer piece of plastic for this, like, fur diaper that he's got going on. So, can't really kick all that far, but can kick really nice out to the side. The ball joint there is great. You got a thigh swivel. That's great. Double jointed knees. No issues there. Works really well. You have a hinge and a rotation down here in the ankle. Perfect. Everything about this figure, with the exception of the hinge shoulders, works great and looks really good. And I mean, I guess I could just kind of pose him in some kind of pose where, you know, I don't necessarily need him to have the arms down, but it's just a shame because, like I said, it just feels like with every one of these figures, they're so close to greatness, and then they just have something holding them back. And it's just really a shame. You know, it's just the shoulder should work. Like, that's an obvious articulation point. And it's just a shame that it just doesn't really work, because everything else about this is so good. I really, really like it a lot. We'll bring in, here's Axel for a little size comparison here. Now, I do have the werewolf in a little bit of a squat pose, but it does seem like Axel's even taller than he is. So, I don't know. They just kind of missed the mark on the size for Axel. He should probably be, like, at least an inch shorter. The werewolf, I feel like, would be kind of okay, because, like, if I bring in, let's see, where is Miles? So, Miles is shorter, but it's a werewolf. So, it's like, okay, it's a mythical creature. In universe, it would make sense it's a little bigger. He would be intimidated fighting a werewolf. I'm kind of okay with that. But just a guy, like, he should not be that tall. So if we're trying to be 4-inch scale, I'm totally okay with this, because in my mind it makes sense. But Axel's just, he's even taller than the werewolf. So I don't know what's going on with Axel. That's just off a little bit. But this is a 4-inch Epic Hero Series figure. Let me get, here is a 5-inch Ghostbuster, which you can see is definitely taller than the werewolf. Here is a 3 3/4-inch Super 7 Reaction. And then here is one of Hasbro's retro Star Wars figures, which should also be 3 3/4. Honestly, Miles is just tiny. Maybe he's just not a good representation of a 4-inch figure. What else do we have? Here's blocky Scavenger. He's a little shorter. So maybe he's more like 3 3/4 inch and these are all 4-inch. I don't know. In any case, I feel like the werewolf fits. Axel still really doesn't. And then this guy was never meant to. But that's fine. But there you go. There's a nice size comparison. A wide array of things to show off there. So again, it's a real shame. Hopefully, if you pick one up, you won't have the same issue with the shoulders. If you do pick one up and you do have the same issue with the shoulders, I would love to hear from you in the comments, because I want to know if I'm just unlucky with these or if it's actually an issue. But, I mean, I'm going to keep it. I'm not going to bother trying to take it back, more than likely. Because it's still a good figure. You know, you just have to put him in some kind of beefcake poses there. And maybe over time, you know, if I wiggle it enough, I can get the shoulders to move. Or maybe if I try heating them, maybe that would help. I don't usually do that, but maybe I could try to put, like, a hairdryer on that or something. And I don't want it to melt any of these, like, softer rubber plastic areas. So I don't know. We'll see. But overall, it's a great-looking figure. You know, the articulation is pretty good, assuming you get all of it. It's a great amount of articulation, if you can get it all to work. But honestly, like, from, you know, the abdomen down, it's solid. All of these joints are fantastic. It's a cool looking figure, and I hope they do more from this series, because I love Altered Beast. Oh, I forgot to talk about his little energy orb. It is exactly what you think it is. It's got a little spot here on the bottom, so if you had a stand and you wanted to peg it in so you can make it look like it's floating around, that way when he gathers it, it can be like, power up. If you know, you know. But yeah, it's a cool little accessory. Totally makes sense. I mean, like, the only other thing is maybe they could have given him some kind of effect piece. I wonder if I can steal... Where's the effect piece from Axel? I think it was this. Now, his fist is too big. But honestly, in this game, he has something kind of similar that he kind of shoots out of his hand. But unfortunately, his werewolf hands are a little too big. Also, I'm wondering why fists, because I feel like I would rather see, like, werewolf claws, like he's, you know, scraping someone. He kind of has, like, the nails molded in, but they're not painted or anything, and it's only on the thumb. But I appreciate it. I would have probably rather him had open hands, like, so that he can claw at things instead of the fists, but still a cool looking figure. Like I said, unfortunately mine just has the QC issue with the shoulder hinges. But other than that, I mean, if I just put him on the shelf like this, I'm happy. He looks good. And I want this line to do well, because it's a really neat idea. I like the idea of them going and pulling, you know, obscure things from, you know, Sega over the years. If they could do, like, Golden Axe figures in this size, that would be really cool. I don't know who has licensing rights to what. I'm just thinking of Sega Genesis games. Comic Zone would be amazing. Toe Jam and Earl, could you imagine? Little 4-inch figures of Toe Jam and Earl. So, like, I want this line to do well. I think it's a really cool idea. They just maybe have to work on their QC issues a little bit. because like I said, I seemed to be unaffected. I didn't really have any problems with him. But Ajax, is it Ajax? No, I'm confusing. Alex, whatever his name is, the guy from Streets of Rage. He had a couple issues with a elbow joint and the butterfly joints, and then the werewolf here has these shoulder hinges that just will not move. So unfortunate, but still a fantastic looking figure. The other thing you have to remember is this is only $10. So for $10, I think it's a fantastic looking figure. The size is good. The paint applications for kind of the black wash to highlight everything, all the features, and the molded in fur and the claws, or I should say his nails on his feet are painted very nicely. The head looks fantastic. So if the shoulders worked, this would be like a 10 out of 10 perfect figure for me. Since they don't work, I'm going to have to give it like a 8.5. I mean, that's, maybe that's too generous. I don't know. But in any case, I'm still really happy with it. I still like it a lot. And the price is definitely right. And as long as all your articulation works, it's a pretty perfect figure. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. If you picked this one up and yours is fine, that's awesome. I want to hear from you. I want to know if I'm just unlucky. It happens sometimes. So I want to hear from you. I also, if it's a widespread thing, then I hope, Jakks Specific can take notice and correct it going forward. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. And as always, thanks so much for watching.